The new OG's special Saturday edition, and it's brought to you by State Master Entertainment Production and Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, raise the value of your home, and do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is Black-owned and a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters. Yes, sir. I like how you're doing this in a much calmer voice. I like this when we're together and you're like, you got it nice and easy. This is good.
Hey, XL does more than comedy. XL also studies about ear injuries and the damage of like loud sound.
Is that a thing that XL does?
Yeah, it does. It does. XL went to a lot of concerts when he was young, and XL probably gonna get some hearing aids.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Not totally dumb guys. Nothing wrong. Just don't want to lose any extra hearing. But back to the motherfucking thing, man. I just want to real quick.
Yeah.
You told people they can save money on their bill every month.
They can save money on the bill every month. That's
we can do a little bit to help the environment. Not everything, but something your part can.
Listen, I mean, you want to feel good about the part you play, right? That's why you throw trash out. That's why you throw stuff out your windows, ideally. Mm-hmm. That's why and if you can add to that by playing a part with solar, you can help the environment.
And even if you don't give a fuck about either one of those things, if you're just a greedy person and need cash, if you get somebody else to do it and you refer them, you get $500 if they go forward with it?
Yeah, even if you're just greedy and you want the money, you can refer people that you know. You can get $500 when they get their solar panels.
Man, that's a good deal. I'm not going to do a joke about it because it's a damn good deal. I'm tired of making y'all making me work for this. We doing something for you. So,
I mean, if you want a good deal, you just got to get over to Solar Master. Go over to www.gosolarmasters.com, get that $500, or try and sign up and see if you can get solar on your home today. You were also brought to you by People of Comedy. Get over to People of Comedy on Facebook. You can see all the great shows they've got offered there. You can check in daily. They've got new, fresh podcasts you can watch and listen to wherever you listen to pods. We are sitting here live in Indianapolis as advertised. We are at Crackers Comedy Club. That is that's the guy you see in the back there. We are on the stage at Crackers. We are doing this live for you here. We are jacked about being here. We did one show last night. We got another one coming tonight. I'll be hosting tonight with XL featuring, and the great Rob Hines is going to be closing us out. How you doing, X, man? How's your time down here been?
My time down here has been really, really groovy. Indianapolis is always fun. The crowd last night was something happened last night. I don't know if this has ever happened before. People immediately, as they're leaving the show, were like, say they were to come back, like we were Blue Man Group or something.
Yeah, it was surprising. Normally, you do comedy, and people know that like this is the actor working with, right? So if you come back the next day, you might see a lot of the same stuff, and they're just like, we don't care.
Yeah, they were really. That was fucking pretty cool because I'm gonna be 100% honest. I had a little bit of an off night.
You're like, if you want to come back and see this again, just wait till what I do for you.
Yeah. I'm gonna be on fire tonight. I'm definitely on a redemption tour right now. I forgot what I wanted to close with to intro Bobby and. Literally just had a total brain freeze.
You had an OG moment.
I couldn't think of a single joke. Like it wasn't only. Not only could I not think of that joke, I kept trying to think of jokes that I could do within like maybe 90 seconds.
Right.
Nothing I had to go like a whole long ass thing in.
Yeah.
And I like all of those jokes just went.
You're like any joke will do.
It was like those motherfuckers was on strike. Like I.
IATSE,
yeah. Like they were like, nope. You're not just gonna use us to close out.
Yeah, it was. For somebody who seems like they've been having some pretty good weeks, it might have been one of the tough things you had, which still isn't bad.
Yeah.
I killing it lately, man. You've been exercising. You've been finding dick you didn't know you had. You know what I mean? And
that man. Oh my God, that worded. Oh my God. The internets don't do the thing that you do and use those words. Even fun dick. Like they kids. My long lost dick. Oh shit.
Yeah, like you'd be upset if all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I got a 22-year-old. I didn't even know I had it. But if you were like, I found 2.2 inches of dick, it's like, oh well, now we're celebrating. It's a whole different deal when you find dick. Especially if it's your own.
Super
it's
excited.
Better you find your own than somebody else's.
Yeah, man. I lost almost 100 pounds.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I have been tripping. Like, God, and I'm vegan now. right? So now I understand the gray sweatpants thing. I woke up, I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
I was in Target yesterday with 3 pairs of gray sweatpants. Just seeing like which one of these motherfuckers is gonna give the best. I mean, you know, and I want to, you know, in the modern times in which whatever weight people find to be happy at is good for them, right? Not everybody is built to be a athlete or a supermodel or some whatever, right? And some people, you know, fit doesn't always mean looking like that, right? You can be. I've seen fit football players and women who can. Yeah. I mean, I watched Lizzo dance. She's not a tiny person. She's got way more energy to dance than I do, and I like dancing.
Lizzo can twerk and play the flute at the same time. If you cannot do those things, shut the fuck up about Lizzo's size.
But we've all been trying to take care of our health in ways that have resulted in weight loss.
That's the point.
It's all resulted in weight loss for us, and I gotta tell you, one of the toughest parts about though is that both you guys don't eat things that are part of my diet.
All 3 of us have very diverse diets.
It's the biggest struggle because I want to tell y'all about the fun shit going on all the time, and I can't because, well, you at least have eaten pork.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I tell you about the deliciousness of oven-made bacon, where the grease just sits on it and gets into it.
I've experienced. Dude, I weigh 320 pounds.
I'm telling you, I bought these things from the store the other day. They were called bacon dollops. And all it was butter with little bits of bacon that they had chilled. So they were like in little puddles, basically. And they sold them in a little box. And so when I would be cooking, I would bring out the meat and I'd start that rolling. And then I'd take one of these little dollops and throw that motherfucker in the cast iron skillet. And that shit would infuse into everything. And like, you'll get it because you've had bacon. But this motherfucker, so bacon
this is what here's the thing that's funny about it. Here's why.
And then he says turkey bacon. I'm like,
no. But here's why I get it. The reason why I get how good bacon is the reason why I understand how good bacon is because it blows my mind how much different new shit y'all come up with for bacon. Like bacon is a character in the story of motherfuckers' food that you will never let go.
Bacon is R2D2. Bacon shows up in all the films and all the series. You're like, is it about R2D2? It's just a series.
Is this really R2D2 story? Yeah.
I guess the saltiness is what you achieve with the shit. That's why I could go on everything. The saltiness.
Yeah, it brings a savoriness to it. Bacon. I mean, I cook with bacon. That's the other thing. Is like I cook with bacon fat. Like that's what I do most of my cooking with. Not butter. I don't use oils. I mostly use like bacon fat that I've saved from bacon and strained out. And like even trying to explain how much different that steak tastes with the grease from the bacon is not a thing I can. It's so difficult because I want to share these moments with my friends and I can't have it.
You can talk about it. I mean, I'm a fat dude. I like deliciousness, and I used to eat steak.
Yeah, so like there's certain things that people try to explain to me if I've never had it. I'm like, it sounds like that could be great, like but I have no idea what that means in a flavor standpoint.
We were just talking yesterday about well done versus like medium rare or whatever steaks, right? And I would say I understand your position because I felt the same way. Okay, but what I found out when I went to
well done steaks,
Gibson, I went to Gibson one time and I just did what everybody else was doing because I was in like a business scenario and I didn't want to have that. I was the only black person at the table, so I didn't want to have that awkward shit. And I was like, listen, I said, I just want to eat this. I was hungry, and I ate it, and I was like, this shit is fucking amazing. And I was like, oh, I've been wrong. I've been wrong. This shit is delicious.
I've had it
way
that
more
way,
flavor in it,
and it didn't work for me.
Well, I
have you had that way at a good
I don't know. I don't know every restaurant I've ever been to, and whether it's top shelf or not. If they brought the shit out.
Are you afraid of red? Is that
no? I tried. I'm around white folks all the time, and I do not like conflict. So I've had the shit where it was like that and didn't like it. Okay, that's just all.
No, I'm not saying that. When I asked you about high level, because literally the reason that I came at it from this angle is I was listening to somebody talk about it on the radio, and it was a guy he had Outback Steakhouse, and then like somebody took him to like Gibson's or Ruth Chris or something like that, and they were like, but this person, it wasn't a well done thing. It was just he thought steak was steak. And no matter where you had it at, it's like steak and steak. Yeah. He was like, no. There's a difference if you get like a
if you get steak at Fremont Street, it's not the same steak you get in Vegas. If you're at Fremont Street in Vegas and you get steak, it's not the same steak.
I wouldn't fuck with I don't eat beef anymore. But back when I did, I wouldn't fuck with a steak at like Outback Steakhouse or fucking Chili's or some shit. I would never do that. The few times I went to someplace that had steak, it would be like Ruth Chris or someplace that was like that was in their name, and it was gonna cost me some bucks.
Yeah.
They had top shelf scotch in the bar. That type of joint.
Yeah, when you get that good cut of like meat, and I don't mean it doesn't have to be rare. Although I know guys that like literally will salt steak, and then later just eat it raw.
Oh wow.
Because salt kills all the shit that's in there. So like they'll salt and eat it raw. That's too much for me. I like a sear. I like medium rare. Medium rare is good for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm at.
It's for the record, that is not blood that you see inside of a steak, by the way. That's not blood there. There's a protein that you really actually need, and that's what's coming. That's what's coming out of the steak. It's not blood. The blood is all out of the steak, but they're not slaying bloody steaks around because they're not letting you handle blood like that.
I did not know that.
That's a protein.
Now that you just said that, it makes sense. Because I always assumed it was because of the oil, but it doesn't handle like blood.
No,
not that I have a lot of experience with blood. I want to be clear,
make eggs,
but it doesn't
and then
have
I
blood
let that soak up all that shit,
and
then I drink up whatever's left, like it's juice.
I would imagine that would have to be right because blood curdles.
Yeah, I mean it would be
that shit.
Well, the reality is that the blood, without anything keeping it, A, would fall out of the steak before it ever got to you, and B, would spoil well before the steak spoiled. The blood would go bad before you ever get to the steak, so that's not going to happen. So, how you
Bobby teaching shit. Learn something new.
Well, listen, OG when you decide all you're going to do is, to understand my diet is literally steak, eggs with some cheese, coffee, and heavy cream, and that's it. That's the...
Yeah,
what you doing?
I'm not doing that. I was trying.
We are on air on both your Facebook Live and
I know. I was trying to look through while you were talking. I thought you were gonna keep, and then you were going with a loud kind of thing. I was like trying to be real
Bobby, the motherfucker's a giant. He does not know his whisper.
I was trying to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Hey, we gotta sing this song. It's called.
Hey, was that loud? I'm sorry.
And we got this wild mic situation.
Listen, people in Nigeria aren't trying to listen, but XL is so loud that they still hearing it. You know what I'm saying? Those aren't our fans aren't on today, but they're like, I believe XL is talking right now.
This is like the watcher.
Oh, hey, when that dude said, hey, keep it a secret. I was through gambling after that.
How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing
down
really
here in Crackers.
well,
Thank you again for helping with the opportunities to get us down here to work.
I thank you guys for coming. I thank Ruth Ann for hosting us here. She has been nothing short of phenomenal.
Spectacular.
I mean, just beyond, above and beyond.
Love her.
She's a very nice woman.
Love her.
I mean, that was.
No, I agree. I know.
Like, how many clubs have we gone to though, where it's some. I mean, and most clubs are owned by dudes, so oftentimes it's a dude in charge when you get there who is just like treating you like you are
disposable.
Not only disposable, but like definitely the help.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like you have come in, like you are the maintenance guy who's come in, and you are also not his maintenance guy. You're a contractor maintenance guy, so there's no level of nice that needs to be afforded. Groom's back here, groom's over here. Go fuck yourself. That's usually That's not usually, but there are some clubs you get to.
There
it's
are
like,
a lot
all right,
of clubs that are that way.
All right, and Ruth Ann is very welcoming and interested in us being taken. I mean, she's letting us sit here on a Saturday and do this. So.
Yeah.
I know men don't need defending, but in defense of those men, comics are a bit much. And if you have to do comics every week of your life,
we can be a little neurotic and probably. I mean, there's a reason why we're doing this, right? Everybody goes, "I wonder what it takes to be a comic." It's like you don't want what it takes necessarily. The damage.
And
the
that's
damage
the
is not what
weird
you're
thing, man.
for.
Most of my life, I thought that was wrong. I'm like, I'm cool, shit. I'm all right. Ain't nothing wrong with me all the while. Just all damage all over.
Dude, the comedy has been. I don't mean to disrespect therapy. I know therapy is something that's
not
real
therapy for you.
But comedy has been therapy and me realizing shit that I didn't realize that I had. Like, God, I need to talk to somebody about this and stuff like that. Because as I
it's alerted you to the fact that you need therapy. That's more likely the case.
Yes, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
It was a warning light,
right?
No, see, I would say no. I had breakthroughs that I need. God damn it. I had breakthroughs that I had breakthroughs. It's that simple. That's how I'll put it through. Because we're trying to feel stuff back in comedy.
What we were just laughing about when we set up, Bobby told us distinctly not to hit the tape.
We don't have the right mic set. You're hearing this, thank goodness if you are, but our mic setup isn't perfect. If you're listening to it, it's definitely, I'm going to help you out with this. The reality is like, you know, we had to set up the mics the way we could based off what we had. So they're on the table, which means too much tapping on the table is probably fucking y'all up. So we're going to try and keep y'all here while we're here.
So I apologize for that thump y'all just heard. That was me.
But we're making it. Rob, I think the funniest shit that happened with Rob had a real OG moment. We were back in Chicago, and we were grabbing some stuff for a mukbang that we did. We shot a mukbang in Romeoville last week, which I'm not sure when it's going to air, but keep your eyes open for that. It was great. We shot it with Surf's Up, a restaurant that's located there at the High Point community in Romeoville. It was a black-owned company. Shout out to black-owned companies.
Black-owned companies love
thank
shout
you,
outs.
sir. And it was great to have that situation go down. But we were grabbing stuff to go over there, and we're all in the back of XL's car because that's how we go smoke weed, right? So we're all in the back of XL's car, and I need to run by my car and grab some shit. And I jump out and grab my shit. Now, Rob's car is parked right next to mine, right? This is how scared this man is of being left. First of all, he waits until I'm back in the car, and he's like, oh, I need to get shit out of my car. So he goes to get out of the car and leaves the door open and runs around. And XL's like, hey, man, why did you not shut my door? And Rob literally turns around and goes, I didn't want y'all to leave me. We are a block away from where the fuck we're going, right?
Also,
we are friends with this
ain't
nigga
even a
for
block.
we've been
It ain't
friends
even a
for almost
block.
a decade. You know what I mean?
and
Like,
also, the person that we were going to work with is a friend of his
right, our
from
connection.
high school. From high school. So
Right.
he thought we were going to leave him for a block to go engage with his friend from high school without him.
Right.
Listen, if
Also, he almost got left because he left the goddamn car door open, and I almost took off because I was mad that he did it.
hey,
Which is a word because it was like, oh, well, we almost did exactly the shit you were afraid of us doing out of spite.
okay, now I got to talk. Okay, two things you got to know about this. If you're gonna tell a story, tell the motherfucker right. It was not a block. It was less than a block. It was the length of a small parking lot. That is number one. And number two, no matter what the fuck they tell you about how bad it was, they didn't fucking leave. So fuck both of them.
I literally just, so he says that. He goes, I thought you guys were going to leave me. I just looked over and I go, what type of men have you been spending your time around?
No, well, I'm
Who
telling
are the
you.
dudes that you've
The
been
only
training
reason,
you?
I'm going to tell you, be honest with you, the only reason he didn't get left is because if Joe was your friend from high school,
Right.
we'd have left it. He was my friend.
Just because he left the door open,
and,
right?
Yes, because he left the door open. I was like,
Whatever.
He left the door open.
What-
Yeah, I almost got you left.
Whatever it takes.
You
I was like, we need this nigga to get in.
You could have got in without me. They would have never known I was left.
But when you came in,
What I'm gonna do? Be mad because I had to walk half a parking lot? No.
Yes, that's why we talking about it now.
It would have been funny as hell to me.
An area where some other OG shit is going on that we haven't figured out how to take advantage of, but some people did. The NBA is coming back, and I definitely want to talk about it for sure.
Yes.
The NBA is back. We're going to talk about some of the crazy shit going on. Let's talk about the fact that it's back in the first place because I'm very excited. I'm wearing this shirt right now. This is from Chicago to a T. It's a Chicago t-shirt company. This is the Six Bulls titles.
If you
based
can't
on
see it,
you
it
can't
says
see it.
91 plus 92 plus 93 plus 96 plus 97 plus 98 equals 6.
Six Bulls championships. And if you have seen any of the preseason shit from the NBA, you realize that the Bulls are definitely fucking back. They won their first game by like 40 fucking points. They've won their second game by 36 points.
I didn't see the second game, but the first game that they won by 40-something points, it wasn't that close. And I know, like, the 40 points was like because
First indicator.
the third team like let them up and get some buckets. That's the only reason because they have like
They were up by 50 at one point.
Yeah, because I think they have 15 to 20 players in preseason on the team.
Yeah.
And I know you're watching this like, calm down. It's preseason. I understand. I fucking play basketball. I understand that it's preseason. The thing that has me the most excited, I saw the first game, I didn't see the second one, is the way that they played. They played like a team that knew each other, like they've been playing together all summer and they had a rhythm already. They knew where the other person was going to be. They were throwing no-look passes and shit. Like that's
they're playing
pretty,
together already. I mean, if you're an NBA fan, if you're not an NBA fan, then you might want to, go watch something else for about 5 more minutes. But or learn some shit about the NBA. But if you're an NBA fan, like obviously preseason doesn't mean everything, but there's also not a lot of preseason games where teams win by 40 something and then 30 something back to back nights. There's just not a lot of that going on. And I think there are a lot of people that expect. I mean, there were projections of the Bulls coming out winning like 2 or 3 more games than they won all of last year. I don't think that is how that's going to work.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to get into the 40s. I personally believe 40. If I had to put a number out there, I guess it's preseason we're talking about it.
Let's throw some numbers out there.
I would say right now I feel comfortable saying 47. I'll put that as a lock.
Like 47 and 35 or something like that.
Yeah, coming to math on that. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well done.
Yeah. 82 games?
Yeah.
We're right there.
Yeah.
Listen, man, so the way my alarm clock works is I have to solve math problems to turn it off.
Oh,
my alarm clock goes off and I can set how many problems I want to solve and I can set the difficulty level. And then it's on me at that point.
Wow.
If I can't do the math, I am just assed out.
You got to plug it.
Yeah, I got to throw the phone if that ends up happening. But yeah, it's just, if you're, we're Chicagoans. So watching the Bulls be not good for a number of years was very heartbreaking. Watch them be good and not get really close was really shitty too. When they really, I think Tibbs got way more out of that team than the talent that was available.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can see in New York, like he has okay talent. He's playing less time. Everybody's getting it's not the reason why people played so many minutes in Chicago, and this is my whole argument, is because
they had 3
kind of
players.
garbage.
They had 3 players and 2 of them weren't that great. Like Luol Deng was he had moments, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he was like a 1 or 2 time All-Star.
Yeah.
Joakim Noah was a hustle guy, great defender. Sure. But like where the points come from? Yeah. The points guys weren't there, right? It took Butler a couple years to get it going. And even then, like Butler averages 20, 21 points. It's not like you had torches out there. There wasn't people going for 50 on a regular basis.
If there could have been a time where if there was a timeline, a multiverse where Rose handled his I won't say didn't get hurt, I say handled his rehab better. Because I still contend, I believe that was because look how he's playing now. And anyway, I'm not getting that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, they may have been something with the way Jimmy Butler developed, because Jimmy Butler, I mean, I'm not going down there, but he said he was going to be a dog out of day.
Had they added instead of subtracted during that era?
Yeah.
But I think what really cost them was that was the era in which LeBron James made his big decision on where he was going.
Yeah.
And when he made his big decision on going to Miami, it really set the tone for the future of how, like for at least the near future of how it was going to go for Chicago. They missed out on that one, and it was just like a cascade of like, oh, we're also, you know what I mean? They got Boozer out of that.
Also,
that was what they
yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, I want to scale all that shit back. Fuck Rose's injury. The real reason why nothing ever happened with that team is because John Paxson and that other dude, Gar Paxson, Gar Foreman, sucked at their job.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, I don't know. I never was an NBA player, and I don't have any direct NBA. Maybe I do. I can't remember. But NBA players did not like the Bulls front office for whatever reason.
For one reason. I
can tell you exactly why.
For one reason only. When you had the best players on the planet, you treated them like shit quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
That was the issue. When Jordan and Pippen and Horace Grant and all those guys left the Bulls, when people would ask them, hey, man, y'all the greatest players ever. How'd the team treat you? And they're like dog shit. Yeah. And so they're like, well, if you're gonna make it hard for Michael Jordan to want to come back, if you're gonna make it hard for Scottie Pippen to want to come back, if you're gonna make it hard for Horace Grant, you'll make it so all these people are like, thank God, get me out of here.
Antoine Walker said it when he was a free agent. If you treat the greatest player of all time like that, how you gonna treat me?
Right. Come on, man.
He's from Chicago.
And they went
Chicago.
And they went through this whole period of time where they were like, as the league was becoming more player friendly, they were not. They were not signing dudes with cornrow. They had a cornrow issue at one point. They had a headband issue. They had a headband issue literally until this year.
Oh wow.
I mean, I think with the new coach and the new leadership, they got rid of it, but nobody was wearing one. But like there was a period of time where like you can wear a headband on the Bulls.
Is that why they gave up on Jamal Crawford?
I don't even know.
Wow.
I don't even know.
Obviously
Caruso and DeRozan have shown that the headbands are back. The
Gar Foreman and
maybe
John
the reason why
Paxson
they got rid of it.
Well, at least John Paxson for sure. No, I'm not gonna say guard for him, but John Paxson definitely knows more about basketball than I do. He's a much better player than I ever was. I'm not taking that away from him, but he was a horrible fucking president of operations or whatever his job title was. He was bad at his job, and also his acting like he didn't understand that he was bad at his job was really fucking irritating because when you had they do surveys in the league and they ask players anonymously how they feel about certain front offices and shit. And the information came back that they didn't trust the fucking Bulls front office and they had issues with Bulls front office. And when asked about it, he was like, well, that's not what we're hearing. It doesn't matter what you're hearing, motherfucker.
No.
They're just not saying it to your face
So
because you're still the goddamn Chicago Bulls.
So the key is now this lineup that they had that everybody was concerned about because they had all these guys that played the same position. They don't seem to, one, they don't seem to be playing the same position. And two, it don't seem to matter.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers is dope.
Also, that's how basketball is played right now. The ultimate team, the best team is going to be a team that has 5 guys that all can play the same position. If you had 5 Giannis's, you'd fucking murder people.
Well, also remember, like, Draymond Green is strong, but he's also 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
And he's the power forward at Golden State.
Yeah.
So, like...
And sometimes we'll guard a center.
Yeah, he's played guard, center, he's played all those spots. So like this idea that everybody's got to be 6'10" on the floor is not as realistic as it used to be.
Yeah.
One thing that is realistic is these 18 ex-NBA players who've been charged in a healthcare scam. This is a crazy thing. 18 players. They arrested 15 former players, one of their wives, in a 3-year conspiracy that started in 2017. They had teamed up to defraud the supplemental coverage plan by submitting fraudulent claims to get reimbursed for medical and dental procedures that never happened. GPS data and travel records show that a lot of these people weren't even in the same country as they were supposed to be when some of this shit was happening. One dude was in Taiwan when he was supposedly getting $48,000 worth of root canals and crowns.
Wow.
Now, I've got some genetically fucked up teeth, okay? I've gotten a lot of dental work on them. None of that shit has been 48 grand. You have to get punched in the mouth and lose all your shit to get 48 grand worth of dental work, or you have to be getting your jaw reset. Those are the only ways you're getting 48,000 worth of fucking shit. $4 million is the total amount that they defraud out. They got 2.5 million in fraudulent proceeds. And then this cat Williams, who set it all up, where he made like $230,000 set it up. This includes Big Baby Davis. This includes Sebastian Telfair.
Big Baby Davis had like the thing that makes me so this whole story is embarrassing to me as a black man, as a ball player, as an NBA fan, because most of those dudes had contracts that they should not be fucking hustling a system.
Tony Allen,
they should have dough. They should have some kind of bread.
Yeah.
Like I know whatever, you got to take care of the whole block. First of all, you don't. All right. That's the mentality we got to get out of. Like you take care of who you can, but taking care of the whole block gonna have your ass like MC Hammer. You know, we're talking about how much you used to have. And these motherfuckers doing this shit is just like the amount of bread that they got wasn't even some shit that most of them made in their first season.
They out earned that in their first or second year.
Yeah,
for sure.
These motherfuckers first round draft picks.
Like these are all guys who'd all been around.
Guaranteed contracts for 4 years.
Tony Roten had a couple of contracts. Ruben Patterson had a couple of contracts. Darius Miles had a couple of contracts.
Big Baby Davis.
Shannon Brown.
Got a ring.
Shannon Brown won some
At
shit.
least one, maybe 2.
Tony Allen. Shannon Brown won 2 titles with the Lakers. Melvin Eli won a title with the Spurs. These are all guys who've been invited.
Baby Davis has a title with the Celtics, and I think he was on another team, like on their bench that won a title, but I can't remember for sure.
It's wild, man.
He might have been with Miami on the bench or something.
It's crazy that's how that went down. So those guys are going to be dealing with some issues when it comes to that. Somebody else dealing with some issues. Urban Meyer. So I didn't realize exactly how it had gone down when it first came out, right? Urban Meyer was in Ohio for a game. He used to be the coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, right? He's in Ohio for a game with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everybody else gets on a plane to fly back to Jacksonville. The head coach decides, I'm going to stay kicking in Ohio for another day.
And he said he would have dinner with his kids or grandkids or whatever.
He still owns a restaurant, right, in Ohio, but he goes next door to the bar. And of course, you know, video is out everywhere these days. So they got video of this dude out at the bar with a chick dancing on it. Now he's got a wife with kids at home. And in fact, his wife posted on Instagram when the video came out, here's what I was doing on that night. And they show her at home washing the kids.
Oh, wow. Wow.
This is a head coach of a professional football team. This is, by the way, his first head coaching gig.
as a pro.
As a pro.
Yeah.
This is a man who is, he's a 3-time national championship winner, right?
Yeah.
This is a guy. I mean, and now he's in a situation. Now his wife has said, "Hey, everybody makes mistakes," which is, I don't know. The divorce is too expensive. Maybe the dude signed a prenup. I don't know what happened, but
fuck y'all. This is my man. You know what I'm saying? That's what that is.
This is one of those situations that would be solved by polyamory for sure, though. Right? Like, sure, the public may have their perception, but if he was just like, "Oh yeah, my wife and I, this is like, we've already agreed this is how this goes." I dance with wives. She's fine with it. And that would have been, now the not being with the team is a whole other issue.
The whole not being with the team. But the evidence of y'all who say, how would polyamory solve it? The Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Perfect example. Y'all motherfuckers keep tripping about Will cheating and her cheating and them having, and surprised they have an open marriage. That shit has kind of been known since 2000 whatever. So however long they've been married, that's kind of been a known thing. And they are happy. Yeah. Like, regardless of what you seem to believe.
Right.
Rob, are you in trouble if there's a video of you and a lady dancing on you? Even if you're just kind of like standing at the bar kind of holding your drink, but ladies rubbing her ass on you, you all good?
I'll be all right.
You can work your way out of that one?
What happened is...
Okay, let's go to the comment section and see.
If you shut up, I'll tell you exactly what she's going to say. She's going to say, how much did she give you?
Did she give you the whole ass?
No. How much she had? Oh. you better. If you gonna fuck somebody, you better pimp her. Because she pimps me every opportunity. Hey, look like this little chick smiling at you. Why don't you go over there and see what you get?
Well, that's good. See, that's a good relationship. Y'all team
Capitalism,
up.
Capitalism, baby. Capitalism.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the thing. The problem with all this urban mind shit. If you say, "Hey, this is how we get down," then all of a sudden Colgate ain't gonna have you selling toothpaste no more. You can't drive the Tahoe for free. People get used to being treated a certain way, and if you allow other people to feel a certain way about you, you will no longer get that treatment.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that it's a shame that we live in a world where like the idea of having a relationship style that isn't the same as what somebody else decided should be. Means you're unworthy of endorsing shit, But maybe you could start endorsing like Adam and Eve products and stuff.
He has a Colgate ad?
I don't know.
I just thought that was an interesting sponsor that you chose. I was like, but the real issue with Urban Meyer is his team is 0-4.
Right.
And
that's a real problem.
Yeah.
Had they been 4-0 and he was like, I'm chilling in Ohio.
I'm 4-0 and I'm chilling back in the O, bitch. Right. He'd be a hero right now. This whole story would be different.
Right.
The real point.
Well, how you gonna get mad? This nigga celebrating.
So, man. Capitalism got him right back together.
Yeah. The real core of this is his team sucks.
Yeah, that's a real problem. And a piece of black excellence in sports, Bubba Wallace did something in NASCAR that has only been done one other time. Bubba Wallace, who drives for the Michael Jordan racing team, the only black-owned racing team in NASCAR, won a NASCAR race. He's only the second black driver ever to win a NASCAR Cup Series race.
Double black.
The previous guy was a guy named Wendell Scott. He is also
legendary.
Wendell Scott was the first guy to win a NASCAR Cup race, and is also the first black owner to win a NASCAR Cup race. Because of course, I think he had to own his own car. In 1963, wasn't nobody backing a nigga named Wendell Scott to be a race car driver. Okay, nobody was behind. Now I think I saw his nephew in a Camry trying to go 95 on the Dan Ryan the other day, but this.
By the way, there's a great movie about Wendell Scott called Grease Lightning with Richard Pryor.
Yes, that was amazing. That was
a great movie. By the way, I don't know if you know this about Wendell Scott, but the trophy from that 1963 race, his family just received that a couple months ago.
Wow.
Because they had held it up, of course, on some bullshit. Surprising how a sport that loves people that fly Confederate flags around find a way to not give the one nigga who won his trophy until.
But can I say something?
50 years after the
moment. NASCAR has a long history.
60 years, though.
They have a very long history of racism, probably in the entirety of it, because what a lot of people don't know, the origin of NASCAR was bootleggers cars, and most of the time those drivers were black because that's just what the fuck it was. And a lot of those, that's why Wendell Scott, I'm not going to get into it. The point of what I want to say is, I will say this though, they seem to have made like a really strong effort to like, hey, you know what? Those flags got to go. Turns out black people kind of like this shit too, and they spend money.
They
we got to change.
They changed the rules on that, I think, 1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah,
where they won't let you can't bring.
They got rid of the Confederate flag shit. I feel like they have made an effort. If you don't feel like it's enough, I know some black people feel like certain shit is enough. For NASCAR to make any effort at all, I think is actually impressive, because that's the type of shit that changes minds on a cultural level. Because if the NFL said weed was totally okay for their players, openly just said, yeah, we don't give a fuck about weed. Weed is a
like the NBA did. The NBA came out this year and they're like, we're not testing nobody.
But the NBA doesn't quite have the same leverage as the NFL.
No, I'm just saying it's similar to what the NBA did.
Yeah, exactly. If NFL did that, almost every state that is against having weed right now would flip almost immediately.
Yeah,
because the NFL has that type of power, that type of fan base, that many people would be like, oh, well, if it's okay for that.
I feel you on that, but my thing with NASCAR is I think they're doing that because they've realized there are black Republicans, and they still want.
I think black dollars in general.
They're not really looking to find I mean, will that bring in more liberal-minded people? Maybe. But maybe they're trying to appease the black Republicans who happen to be in the South.
I think there are aggressive black people from the South that are probably fans of racing, not NASCAR.
I'm not denying that. I just think you're being very kind to NASCAR as to why they would do this. There's been.
I'm talking about the money.
I'm saying there's an uptick right now in black people in the South who are Trump backers, way more. You saw way more than people. Okay. And I think NASCAR looked at that, and they had a Bubba Wallace situation with a noose, right? Yeah. They had that situation. I think that combination of those things going around, it's about dollars, 100%. They're not trying to get liberal black dollars though. I don't think that's their. I mean, they'll take any dollars, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I think the Confederate thing was more about there are black Republicans that are not trying to see that Confederate flag either.
Yeah. I just think it is money. But I don't think it's that. To me, it's because of the internet. It's because everybody knew that you put a noose in a brother thing. So that's just the tip.
Actually, I want to be clear. I'm not 100% sure if that news. I can't remember how the story ended on that news thing.
It was very inconclusive as to what exactly was going on. Somebody saw it hanging. It wasn't like it's.
Was it like one of those things that you pulled down and they just had it kind of shaped like a noose?
Maybe. The difficulty is it was so hard to figure out. It wasn't like a thick rope tied in the normal noose shit. There are times there are pull down ropes on those garage doors that have a knot in them, and I don't remember exactly how close it looked to that. But either way, it was an issue. But the problem was how legit it looked or not isn't the point. The problem was there was a big stir about it.
Also, that is the environment of NASCAR. They know, hey, our image kind of makes it seem like this shit would happen. So it wasn't like they could play innocent. Our fans, I hear you they could play innocent. Somebody, what, a NASCAR person with a noose? Never, nah. You got Confederate flags blanketing the entire fucking
world.
Place.
And the whole world get to see this shit.
Yeah. So them having to make
they want to expand beyond where they are.
But also, again, to be fair to NASCAR, and again, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think they changed the Confederate flag thing before the noose.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I think the noose, because I think that they thought the noose was in a response to that.
I think that's accurate as far as what's going on.
Yeah,
I like to be fair, even to the racists.
And that's cool.
Because I want to be what the motherfucker. Never mind.
Yeah, ultimately, it always winds up with the same thing. You get to decide what you want to do, when you want to do it. And if anybody challenges anything that seems logical to someone other than them, then you got to feel bad. You got to feel
all of a sudden the victimization shit turns, right?
Right.
Where there's some crazy victimization going on. It's been a weird year for companies that are trying to go on strike. There's been more than ever. I'm hearing about, it was Nabisco earlier this year.
Yeah.
Now Kellogg's is getting ready to go on strike. There's been talk of Amazon, unions forming. 4 Kellogg's plants, they had a huge strike at 4 different plants. They're calling it, it's like a death of 1,000 cuts. They're eliminating jobs out of the Lancaster plant with Kellogg's. There's a gridlock over pay and benefits, including healthcare and retirement. And you know, it's one of a number of different places where you're seeing these strikes start to pop up in companies that you would never thought about there being a strike in before. I mean, these were never things you heard about before.
Yeah,
right?
I think that people having the opportunity to just take the time to realize what's happening around them based on the pandemic are saying, you know what, I shouldn't have to live this hard.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
There's actually an article out in Time right now that talks about how now is the perfect time to go on strike. And part of that is because of, thankfully, people like Bernie Sanders and AOC. I'm going to be honest, right? Like, there are people who've been saying since a long time ago, but definitely since around the 2008 time, that the way that work is structured in this country is not amenable to the working class people who have to live in it. And the pandemic made that even more apparent. And one of the fights I've always had with people when it comes to minimum wage or people's pay rates, when you go, well, the minimum wage should be X. And then you have these people that work in jobs already at a certain level that go, well, that would put them very close to what my pay wage is. And my response to that is always, yeah, nigga, you should be arguing for more money too. Like, sure, get more money. Like, nobody's saying they got to be, like, one, they probably still work as hard as your ass does, right?
Yeah, harder,
like,
probably harder.
Like, I've worked in blue collar jobs and I've worked in white collar jobs. The blue collar jobs have always been easier. I mean, have always been tougher than the white collar jobs.
Yeah.
Right? Either physically, sometimes mentally. The white collar job has been tough mentally, right? Trying to figure out how to sell somebody something or over the phone. There's some difficulty in that. It's not like it's not hard. But like the labor, when you talk about real labor, nonstop rush hour lunches and shit like that at a restaurant, my feet used to hurt like a motherfucker, man.
At a fast food joint, it's insane.
Yeah.
And so regular fucking fast food joint is insane. Fucking sitting by, like, the dude that cooks the burgers and shit, that motherfucker, even though they get air conditioning and shit like that, you're sitting there, you're fucking hot, you're sweating, you're fucking.
I used to run a restaurant in Burbank, California.
I frequented the place.
Yeah, and like AC would be in the front, but not always in the back.
Yeah.
And we're making pizzas and shit, my dude.
In the oven, in a big ass oven. Yeah.
We had a giant oven where you could throw multiple pizzas in that mug. We cooked 10, 15 pizzas at a time, and we'd be in there, and it would just be hot. I mean, we would go out, if the AC broke, we had to go outside and just pour water over our head. So, like, the point is, there's a lot of companies right now that are realizing that now is the time if you're about to get your money, right? Like, whether it's school boards, October, in the first 5 days of October, there were 10 strikes in the U.S. Kellogg plants in Nebraska, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee, school bus drivers in Annapolis, Maryland, janitors at the Denver airport. That doesn't even include 60,000 union members in film and TV, which is happening right now, which is the other thing we're going to talk about since we all work in that industry, is the strikes going on at IATSE, which is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Healthcare workers are going on strike. IATSE is a big deal. Now, when you talk about IATSE, you talk about people that work in the actual, you see the shit on camera, but when they roll the credits and it's the part, when you got to stay for the end of the MCU credits to see what the fuck is going on.
You're like, yeah, all these people.
You watch them roll that long list of motherfuckers, and you see funny shit like Best Boy and Gaffrey, like key grip. And you're like, how do you get a key grip? You just hold the key real hard. Like, how does that shit work? Like, he got the keys to the trailer. Obviously, that's the key grip. That's what he do. This is the best boy. This is the nicest kid we got on set. We don't have this motherfucker around. This is the gaffer. He fucks up all the time. He just got gas. You know what I mean?
Just all the time.
But he fucks up so much, we give him his own roll of fame.
Right.
And that's how good IATSE is that that's a union job. They got to have a gaffer. There's got to be a person fucking.
There's got to be one guy who gas, right?
Yeah.
But
why films are so expensive to make.
But no, these are real. The reason why the lighting looks good on your favorite movie, or the reason why you can't tell that a background extra has actually walked through the scene 7 times and you didn't recognize it. The reason why the sound is good or the editing quality is right or whatever is because these people are doing that work. The reason why everybody's fed on set and all that is these are the people doing that work, the men and women and other people who are doing that work. And they have gone on strike and have got huge support from literally everybody, but the people got to pay them.
Yeah.
I'm saying, man, them people. I had a pilot, and my eyes were burning for some reason. Never happens. I was like, boy, my eyes are burning. And then the thing I don't know, I hear somebody on the radio, get the toilet to Visine. And like 15 minutes later, they not only got me Visine, I was used to, how you get that big old hood bottle, and it's just one, and you got to keep using that same thing.
Yeah,
no,
right.
These were individual.
Oh yeah, the little tiny ones. Oh yeah. Yeah, like when you're on a set, if you're the talent, Your job is to literally just know your shit, and you don't even know. People show up, like when actors show up on a set, they don't know where they're going. They don't know what room they don't know who they got to go to first. They just know the time they're supposed to arrive, what they're shooting that day, and what lines they got to know. Nothing else is.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, you don't even have to know what lines you're gonna know.
Right.
The first acting gig I got, long story short, I was supposed to do an accent. They told me not to do an accent. When they told me not to do an accent, it fucked me up so much. Yeah. So if you watched the show before, you listened to the show before, you know I'm horrible accents. That's the running joke of me doing that accent. But anyway, the accent. So them asking me not to do the accent messed me up, and I couldn't remember my lines. So the next day, when I got to the what we were using as our trailer and shit, 'cause we were on a college campus, so we were using like little dorm rooms. There was a PA sitting in my room, handwriting giant fucking what do you call those cards? Cue cards for me. Like I didn't know, like no one said anything to me or anything like that. I just literally was going there to like get my makeup and shit. And I looked up and I realized those are my lines. And I was like, oh, and it was like, I'm very good at being off book. But my point is to say, they were like, yeah, he doesn't know his lines. That's
the point is, somebody's got to do all that shit.
Yes.
Like the people that work in everything from craft services to setting up the day are there hours before anybody else gets there and hours after. When they put out jobs for production assistants, the pay is based on 12 to 14-hour work days, in which sitting down is not allowed.
Yeah.
If you get caught sitting down as a production assistant, your name doesn't end up on the call sheet the next day, and they don't even tell you not to come back. If your name ain't on the call sheet, don't show up. Don't call nobody asking to show up. Don't have, this is what I was taught. If you're a production assistant and your name isn't on the call sheet for the next day, they're going to have to call you if they want you there. Because you may have fucked something up, and instead of just having a whole thing with you about it, they just going to, the director or whoever is in charge is going to slyly tell somebody, don't put this motherfucker on the call sheet, get somebody else. And then you don't show up on the call sheet. That's how these people's lives are on a daily basis. And if you're out and you're making, $250 a day doing that shit, you're not out of that. And now you got to go find another job while that's going on, right? Which ends up putting people on unemployment in the places where, you know what I mean? When you worry about unemployment, I was in California, part of that is these people who work in these jobs that are not protected. And that is why everything from the room you have to be in, covering up cables while they're shooting, all this shit is covering up cables so motherfuckers don't trip just walking around. All that is done by these people. And what they want is fair break time, fair pay. The starting rate pay for a production assistant is $12 an hour. $12 an hour for a 10 to 12 hour day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's it. Or they usually do 250 times 12 is what they say. So you make 250 for a 12-hour day, which is that, right? Like that's if you're good. If you're good, you're making 250.
And like I said, anybody who's like thinks like, oh, that's a good job, whatever, because you're starting out or whatever. First of all, that's bullshit.
That
and
is.
Secondly, you are not like he has emphasized it enough, but I wanted to kick in again. They fucking hump constantly.
Not only that, but you gotta live there.
If you're if you're acting on a set and you pay attention, you will realize if you're the talent, like the actor or whatever, you realize how little you have to participate in what's going on. You arrive, it's all set up. People are already there doing shit. Yeah. There's a room for you to go in. Somebody knows what you're wearing for the day.
Yes.
There's a place they take you to make sure your shit is all right, your makeup's all good. They got you hungry. They got a place you can go pick up some food at whenever you want to. You don't even have to go get it. Okay, you can be like, hey, is there any way I can just get some water or something? Somebody be like, they got everybody wears headsets. Can we get a purchase of some water or something right now? Watch the set. Literally, one of the jobs that they have is like, so the key to being a good production assistant is anticipating needs, right? You don't be too much because you'll fuck some shit up and be in a scene, but like recognizing when nobody's got water or have water for a minute, and just showing up with water bottles, be like, I need this at a cut. That's how you keep your job as a PA. That's like the inside shit, but like those people need to be protected as workers also. Yeah. And that's a real big deal, right?
No doubt.
Anybody who's ever dealt with it feels the same.
Some other things that need protection is the California coastline. They had an oil spill. Here's the thing. I cut 6-pack shit, the 6-pack wrap. I cut them things open because I don't want to kill no turtles, right? Mm-hmm. I recycle on a regular basis. We talk about solar, right? Do your little, put the panels on, do your little part. Mm-hmm. It don't do no good if a company's gonna spill 130,000 gallons of crude oil into the goddamn ocean.
Hey man, and here's the thing. There's two things I want to say on this real quick. The first thing is I don't know that they when the spill happened, I don't feel like they actually said anything right away. I think they waited until motherfuckers was like, hey man, is this oil? What's going on with this oil? And they was like, oh yeah, about that.
Hey, this swimming is getting real slow right now.
Like I feel
like
like
my eyebrows missing. What is going on?
I feel like the oil was reaching the coastline before, like they didn't announce like, oh, we fucked up. And that's the first thing. And the second thing that I have a problem with, and I know obviously you can't anticipate for every fucking possibility, but these oil spills seem to happen commonly enough that I don't understand why it's always got to be hundreds of millions of gallons of oil get spilled. How come there's not been any money spent in oil spill reduction technology? Like, how come they're not spending billions of dollars? Like when that fault happens and something happens deep under sea or in the ground or whatever, that it can stop before hundreds of fucking millions of gallons of your product. Of your product that also is very finite.
Can't they double bag it? Couldn't they put up a secondary wall and be like, hey, in case this first wall fails, because the oil's gonna be right up against it. So after a while, maybe oil wears.
Like it would be different.
How about like a mega wall? Can you get thicker walls? What are we doing? Did you just see? Here's the problem with capitalism, right? Capitalism will lead you to find the best deal on an oil-containing wall, right? Like whatever this thing is that broke to let all this oil out. Do you think it was the most expensive, most protective, or was it the best deal they could get on some oil?
Like petroleum companies.
Maybe it passes the test, you know what I mean?
That they wrote. The test that they wrote.
Yeah, they lobbied
this
for the laws.
This is thick enough, we think. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to tell the lawmakers to say this.
The petroleum companies make hundreds of billions of dollars in profit. Profit! How the fuck are they not? I mean, I guess because they make so much in profit, who gives a fuck if you spill 130 million?
Because you ain't got to clean it up ultimately. Yeah. You could say you cleaned it up, but you ain't.
And you still gonna make $100 billion in profit.
Yeah, I think the other part too is like another way that you end up you end up getting in a situation like this is that, and this is also part of capitalism is that like you could probably pay a team of motherfuckers to routinely check all your shit for like potentials, right? Like I don't know how often they check, but it's probably not often enough.
You gotta pay divers.
Right. You gotta pay divers to go down there and be like, shit looks good. We all good over here. You know what I mean? If you're willing to spend when the shit is looking close to problematic.
You know those creepy fucking robots they got dancing and all that shit? How about they send them motherfuckers down there?
Yeah, we're them robot dog motherfuckers. If you want that's perfect. And they probably got better sensors than just some nigga run his hand along the side.
Robot dog.
Let the motherfuckers take over the deep sea before they fuck with us.
What were you saying, Rob?
I live in LA, and it appears to me every time I come here to go on tour some shit, something bad happened back there. Like I got to quit leaving. I got man, because my wife is at home alone. Now I'm wondering, well, I know ain't no oil over there where she at, but still, you know, it could.
Yeah, you were at the oil running over the house. It's not a tsunami of oil.
Y'all move to the coast. You like the
oil's gonna
walk coastline.
The LeBron carpets have not exploded. You know, be all right.
Yeah, that's the other thing that scares the hell out of me every time I go.
Have you seen they had a new TV show about that?
Yeah.
Let's not talk about it.
Well, here is a plus side for California. On Thursday, California's Governor Gavin Newsom, who won his reclamation shit or whatever, his recall shit, was able to sign a bill into law that made California the first state to prohibit stealthing. Rob, are you familiar with stealthing?
No, not.
Stealthing is a situation in which during sex with a partner, a man removes his condom and keeps fucking.
Oh.
Without saying something, obviously. He's not like, hey, do you mind if I take my condom off? And she's like, yeah, and that's illegal. No, it's like, I'm fucking you with it. Oh, you want me to wear a condom? Yeah, no doubt. And then you get in there and you're like,
no look back.
Wow.
Fucking, apparently, it's a big issue. This has never been an idea that I've had in my mind.
I'm like, who the fuck is this for? This happened?
This has never been something that I've been like, you know what we should do? I should do this thing where I start fucking and then I totally risk babies and disease. It seems like a terrible idea, but you know what they've also eliminated. What they've also eliminated is the spousal rape exception. So like you can't do it no matter if it's your wife. You can't just be like, oh well, you're mine now.
Yeah, you belong to me.
You know what's crazy about the stealthing thing is that this is how fucking foreigners sell to me. The first thing I thought of was like, that's how bitches be getting NBA player babies. Like she'd be like, let me put it in, baby. You know?
Yeah. So the law eliminates stealthing. It eliminates the idea that spousal rape is any different from any other kind of a rape. So like whether it's your wife or not, you can't just be taking the pussy. That's
it's weird that they had to do a lot for that.
And it's also, if you don't know, it's similar to what has Julian Assange all locked up from WikiLeaks, homeboy from WikiLeaks. The real issue was not just the fact that the first issue was he was doing all the WikiLeaks shit, but the way they trapped his ass is they had this chick who claimed that he performed sneak sex. They had sex once during the, with a condom on. She fell asleep. She woke up. He was fucking her no condom.
Wow.
That's the claim. Now that is disputed. But that's what they're using. That's their big leverage. Is like, that's why we got to get him. He's a bad guy. Look at him. He does this horrible shit. We got to run him down. Now, maybe that's true. Maybe he's a shitty guy. Maybe that's the truth.
Well, he seems like,
I don't know what's up with his life. I don't know how that works. I don't know Julian Assange. I know he's put out some shit that I know the government is against. Yeah. It feels like some people that would not want some shit out would be like, well, let's stop this nigga. Here's a good idea.
But also, let's just say two things can be true.
Two things can be true. Two things can be true.
Fucking Paul Revere of documents and information, and also sleazy dude.
Freak Daddy kind of fella. Yeah.
Louis C.K. is an amazing comic and also a really shitty person.
That is true. That is true. One of the crazy things that came out recently in regards to some of the shit that we talk about a lot of political stuff on here. One of the networks you don't reference often is One American News Network, OAN.
Yeah.
It's not, the fact that they get to call themselves a news network is probably one of the biggest issues I have with this country. But the founder of OAN made a claim the other day that he started the network at the request specifically of the company AT&T. That AT&T
you don't know the
wanted
story.
him to do this. Yeah. So AT&T has never had a financial interest in OAN, and they don't fund OAN. But when they acquired DirecTV, this is what AT&T had to say about it. So what he claimed is that they told us they wanted a conservative network, and that they want something to counter. They had 7 left-wing networks, and they needed somebody else on the right wing besides just Fox, which I will counter. Fox is not necessarily a right-wing network. Fox is a moderately conservative network that plays off of bullshit as much as possible. OAN is a right-wing network. Newsmax is a right-wing network.
Okay.
Fox has still got some shit that's like, they're willing to make you confused enough to fall into some bullshit, but they are way more careful about pushing those super crazy bullshit than the rest of them. You know what I mean?
As soon as document that, I don't know, okay, we do a lawsuit, start coming down from that machine, that company that does machine. Fox stopped talking about that type.
As soon as the election result machines start getting questions, they're the Dominion machines.
Yeah, the Dominion machines. As soon as the motherfuckers file paperwork like we $1 billion lawsuits, shut the fuck up about that.
Yeah.
And then they even made Tucker Carlson like, well, let me put this disclaimer out here.
The other thing is AT&T is owned by Warner Media, which owns CNN. So they are just like turning out. This is the problem with the networks owning these channels that are involved, is they just decide we want this thing, and then this thing gets made, and then you have all this shit that's coming out that is, I know people. I don't know people. I know of people. I don't hang out with them. But I know of people whose news sources are Fox, OAN, Newsmax.
Also, I want to say some AT&T saying that they had no financial issues for two things. Not only they didn't just ask them to create OAN, they created a scenario where OAN did need advertisers, that AT&T paid for them to exist so that they could do anything that they wanted. So part of what keeps Fox in line is that when Fox goes too far, the same thing with the lawsuit, also advertisers boycotting Fox because they said some stupid shit. Those are the things that keeps Fox in line. OAM didn't need a single fucking advertiser because AT&T created a financial structure that as long as they had this network up, that they would need outside income. And they also set up the way the contract worked was that if they went with any other network, so if they got on Xfinity or Cox or any of the other cable networks, that AT&T had to get some kind of compensation back for basically creating this network.
Yeah.
So to say that they had no financial interest is fucking bullshit.
And AT&T rolls it out like, they had to sue us to get on here, but then they reached a carriage agreement with them. So like,
yeah,
which I'm sure includes that information you're talking about. Like, fine, we'll put you on, but you got to make this deal with us.
yeah.
Which, by the way, is making a deal with bullshit. Like, just because you still made the deal, motherfucker. If you weren't into them, you weren't into them. It was easy as that.
Again,
So
it is that whole thing about you do what you want to do. So
well, what that does is it creates an incredibly crucial flow of money that comes to them. If you don't believe in the shit they're doing, you don't put them on. Instead, what happens is they're on there and now they're making money. Yeah,
they're basically their sole sponsor, or they're by far their majority sponsor. I have no idea. I don't watch OAN enough to know what their advertising situation.
Most of it is like precious metals and shit like reverse mortgages. That's their whole.
But Dick, that is an unbelievable monopoly. Like that's just so that means that anytime you want something in Congress, you just tell OAN get against this person and talk about that.
I mean, the cable companies, especially companies that own news channels, have a monopoly on the news essentially that's coming out. They can control all the news that's coming out because it's their channels, it's their network. They can do all that shit. They can run everything that's going on there, which is a crazy, unreal thing that gets to happen. I think it's insane.
You should not be able to use the airways for your own private use. It should be the greater use. So that's the whole point of having corporations and all of that.
Let's get into So
go ahead.
I was gonna say let's get into some fun shit before we have to get out of here.
Yes,
I want to talk about a few more things. By the way, if you're in Indianapolis tonight and you're also watching this show, you're probably one of 3 people that could probably say that. But if you are coming out to Crackers tonight, we're gonna be here.
Okay, I was high earlier and I couldn't answer the question as to why I streamed on XL Comedy as well as our normal networks. Is because I went to school in Indiana and I know there's a bunch of people that log on to that network and might watch a little bit of this shit and see that I'm at Crackers.
We're here
know
tonight.
that we're going to be there tonight.
Hit XL for comps. That's
come on here. Come on. Come on
Give
out.
it a shot. I can't guarantee
check
it.
it out.
The last, it's our last show here tonight. The last episode of the What If series premiered on Marvel. Have you seen it now? Have you seen all the What Ifs? Man.
The last 2 were so, oh my God.
I am excited about which characters from these shows show up as live action characters.
Yeah.
That is the
how it correlates to
Captain Carter for sure.
The neat thing about What If is that it's all MCU, it's all MCU canon. So everything you've seen in What If is part of all that other universe you've been watching for the last 13 years. These are multiverses outside of that. And so there is also talk about Jeffrey Wright maybe making an appearance as a live-action version.
I have to imagine. There's no way you spend the money to get
obviously
Jeffrey
heavily
Wright.
CGI, right? You got to make that giant baby head on him.
Yeah.
For a minute, I thought I was the watcher. I was like, am I the watcher? This nigga looks eerily close to me. If I put on some robes, that's my cosplay.
If you're watching this and you're into the What If, you want to watch it, like mute this for like a few minutes because we're spoiler alert. Spoiler alert if you're watching. If you're not watching, you're listening to this, I just wave my hands in the air. Spoiler alert.
Also, there's a situation with this. There's been a lot of talk from the first Spider-Man trailer about which Doctor Strange that is.
Yeah, I think there's.
And after seeing this Doctor Strange, kind of like he had a struggle in his episode, but now he's in a place where he is like helping save other universes. So like even Sorcerer Supreme Strange is still kind of like down for good.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he wouldn't be like, let's try a fucking spell out. You know?
Yeah. Because ultimately he is who he is. The thing that just blew me away about the whole thing is that if when you say that, you got to know certain people they're gonna bring back, just like Jay Webb was just saying. And one of those people is gonna be Thor. That Thor is the coolest Thor you could ever have. He want to party on your planet, smoke some bud. You dig what I'm saying? And then,
Thor is great.
And then he's scared of his mama. That's me, dude. Like I'm all about Party Thor.
You know who else they really opened the door for to come back out of that series, and in a way that is not as vicious but still vicious, is Killmonger.
Yeah.
The way his character was, they gave him a heroic arc, but almost as an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Like if they're gonna rebuild out the Dark Avengers, the idea of Killmonger from another universe taking one of those spots along with like US Agent and maybe the Black Widow, like there'd be if they did a Dark Avengers, they got a great setup where they bring some of those characters. The Killmonger character is great.
Party Thor is gonna be in Young Avengers. That's my guess.
Okay.
That fits.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know if it fits Young Avengers. I don't know if the Young
Yeah,
Avengers version of Thor is a party guy, but he's young enough in that he would be in school, right? So Young Avengers.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
The
last thing I want to kind of get to today, well, also the Eternals is coming out next month.
Which
I think that's going to open up I think there's going to be a lot of things that sets in motion. Like, I think everybody's talking about how the mutants, the X-Men's type shit's going to pop off in like either in the Doctor Strange movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the first hint you're going to see of that is going to start popping up in Eternals. Because when you look at you may not see mutants, but like the door that opens to make that a possibility will happen there. Because there are characters in there that are doing things that are mutant-like actions. Like there's like the guy who played the older brother from Game of Thrones that ends up getting killed at the Red Wedding, right?
Yeah.
He's got eye beams that are super similar to Cyclops in the way they work.
So here's my prediction. I mean, you can get this from. I'm not spoiler alerting. I haven't seen the Eternals. You can get this from the trailer. There's a cosmic event that's happening on Earth that they're trying to prevent from happening. Obviously, they're going to be successful because fucking Earth exists. So, what if their success creates their success in stopping the cosmic event that would have exploded the planet because it would have created?
I like the idea, but the backstory that you need to create a Professor X still needs to exist, and so you need to create a world in which that's happening.
No. What I mean by create mutants, I don't mean just zap, boom, they're mutants, and all of a sudden there's furry niggas. I mean that happening. Starts at where you can start creating story arc.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you're talking about people now just being born who are mutants, right? You're gonna do 20 years of story to get to the first 20-year-old mutant. You can tell Apocalypse story who's been around for ages, right? Since the pyramids or before.
Besides
the multiverse is what opens up the possibility for mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but like the ideas behind the Eternals kind of show how maybe in a multiverse that may be a spark of what you know what I mean, of what mutancy is. Or
it
something.
Seems like you're creating another level of superhero. These are people that go beyond what physically.
The Eternals are the Eternals are almost androids. They're almost androids in a way because their whole job is to do this one thing, and that's keep the planet safe from these deviants until the egg that's in the center of the planet that was put there by the Celestials grows big enough to zap the planet. That's their whole big deal. They don't have really any other function. They're not supposed to interfere with nothing. Now, here's where I think the mutant thing can possibly come in is you'll find out that they've been fucking regular people this whole time.
Yeah, like some angel shit. Like from the Bible where angels having sex. That's where I come from, kid.
One of the things we didn't talk about earlier that I want to jump into before we get to our last thing of the day was Facebook went. First of all, there was a thing on Facebook on 60 Minutes where they had a whistleblower come out and she was talking about shit that honestly didn't seem surprising to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the shit she was saying was the shit people were talking about Facebook. That's why everybody I know left Facebook.
Yeah.
Because they were like, yeah, they set up so that you can just see the shittiest shit and it gets you into arguing and it makes you crazy and try to get off. That's what people have been telling me for years.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's exactly what the fuck's been going on. But then this whistleblower came on and she was like, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
It wasn't just because she said it. It's because she took pictures of classified documents that it wasn't just that they did that. It was that they had studies that showed that them doing that was having negative effects on specifically on Instagram with teenage girls that was giving them self-esteem issues and other negative issues. And they didn't give a fuck because it would hurt them financially. And they also had information that would have let them know they knew they knew January 6th was going to happen, or they should have known January 6th was going to happen because there were people literally contacting them multiple times right after the election saying, hey, there are groups on your platform that are planning some violent insurrection type shit around January 6th. 2 months before the shit happened, and they knew about it, and they turned off. They had created a system right before at the end, like I think September or something before the election. They created like a system that said that they were gonna stop all that hateful shit and all the misinformation, and it worked. But right after the election, they turned it off because they realized that it was costing them money.
It wasn't making them
They weren't making as much money as they were making before, so they turned it off. So all the hateful shit and all the misinformation and bullshit could start happening again. So that's why everybody was like, it wasn't just that she said they were doing it. She had all the fucking receipts.
Yeah. And then the next day, all the shit didn't work. All the shit didn't work. The Facebook, the Instagram, the WhatsApp, fucking. It didn't work. So it went so bad that the motherfuckers couldn't get in the building. Everything Facebook does is run through Facebook, including their building security. So these motherfuckers couldn't get in the goddamn door.
Because once I forgot they did something that basically
they sent something to the server that was supposed to be like shut down and reboot. They said shut down and don't fucking come back.
It said shut down and reboot, and they said they forgot to do the reboot.
How many people you think got the keys to Facebook?
Hey, this is how fucked up. This is how fucked up it was. They couldn't even call their own security to tell them to like, hey, you need to manually open the door because all their systems, their phones and shit were through Facebook. It was all on those servers, so everything shut down.
Again, how many people do you think?
Zuck, Mrs. Zuck,
maybe a baby Zuck,
Peter Thiel.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that nigga did that. That nigga did that. He's like, hey, you know what? Let's see what's life like without us, motherfuckers. Y'all want to challenge the king? Let me tell you something. I can take it all away.
I will tell you, Twitter.
That's why we need to break them up.
Twitter and Reddit were hot for like 8 hours, so I'm gonna tell you, those motherfuckers were. It was good on there for a little while. It was good. All the old people started showing up. It was like, oh, where are all these 7-year-olds coming from? What Facebook go down for y'all?
That is 100% why that shit needs like hey Zuck, I'm broadcasting this on your shit. So if somehow this gets to you. The reason why, if you did that, the reason why what you did is fucked up is it just gave the Congress everything they need to fucking break you up. And maybe you want them to break you up because I think you could probably get
more money that way.
Can't lose.
Or at least a big downfall. So, you can step away. A great exit plan is to have your company get broken up to get a golden parachute to leave.
Yeah, so
you can't lose.
Well
played, I guess.
The last thing I want to talk about, obviously, we are comics, and so I want to talk about this before we get out of here. Dave Chappelle has a new special out. I have not had a chance to take a look at it. I've not done the homework yet.
None of us did the assignment.
It seems that a lot of people have done the assignment. They seem that there's a lot of attitudes about it. David's had, I think it's his 5th Netflix special. I think it's the last of the deals that he's got with Netflix. I don't know what he's going to do now.
Make more money somewhere else.
He has spent, or maybe with them, he has spent a large amount of these last 5 specials in some areas that have been extremely controversial regarding, transgender people. Anybody who isn't a straight cis heterosexual person, essentially, he's had gone at a lot or had a lot of material that's around that. And comedy is a weird thing, right? Like it's a weird thing because there are so many different ways that you can do comedy. And sometimes when I think about it, and it's not the same exactly, but when I think about like art, like painting, there are people that their whole gig is I paint flowers. Yeah. I paint flowers. That's the art I do. And there are other people that are like, I paint people fucking. That's what I do. And I use acrylics. I use watercolors. I use, you know what I mean? I do some other crazy shit. And when I think about comedy sometimes, and listen, no, it is not a great example if 5 of your last hour specials are largely based on shitting on what is literally the most marginalized, one of the smallest groups of people on a spectrum that we that consists of also traditional normalcy that's out there, right? Like gender, relationships, sexual spectrums. Like it's one of the more transgender. There's way less transgender people than you think there are. More than probably know that they're transgender right now, but way less. Like the percentage of that actually is so small. And so the idea of someone who is one of the great comedians of all time spending so much time in these times that we're dealing with racial issues and job issues and like real issues affect, like transgenderism is not affecting the Black community in some major way that is detrimental. Detrimental.
A lot of Black trans are getting killed. There's a lot of Black trans people.
Yes, but I don't mean like that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying transgender people are not harming the Black community in a way in which this nigga needs to go out and lay out all his issues with it.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sorry, I meant that they were being harmed. I don't mean
they're being.
Well, not harming the Black community.
The problem that comes is that when this nigga's on stage, Dave Chappelle, who everybody has loved for multiple decades, gets on stage and is shitting on him. The idea of having to show them any respect can also go out the window.
Is he shitting on them in general, or is he shitting on like his interactions with a couple people that
To somebody who doesn't.
I didn't see the newest special. You saw the newest special.
I haven't seen the newest special.
Oh, I thought you saw the newest special.
I haven't seen the
I
newest
will
special.
tell you this,
and I'm not
from the
trying to
last
rag
one.
on him because I haven't seen it, right?
From the last time when I watched him, I felt like, and I do believe he's brilliant. But when the last time I seen that type of stuff from him, I thought he was punching down. I felt like, I feel that way about a lot of things. I'm like, why do you care who people fuck? Like, why is this even an issue? And so, and I'm around a lot of OGs who gave me a lot of stuff, but I can't reconcile that part. I'm like, dude, y'all take that shit over there. Like, and I've had people say ridiculous shit like, I don't want to see the shit on the TV. Well, they didn't want to see us on their TV. So how you gonna recollect? Well, if they're gonna do it, show me a little symbol that's gonna say, dude, how in the fuck?
That's one thing my mom said. She was like, I don't really need to see gay people kissing on TV, but I don't need to see straight people kissing on TV. She's like, she goes, honestly, I don't really see nobody kiss nowhere. Like,
I mean, you can specifically probably get like, there's probably kissing porn. I'm sure.
But no, I agree with you, man. That idea that you need somebody to warn you about what the fuck is going on. Like, no, you don't. Like, the thing is that we are fed, especially as a poly person, we have been fed a dynamic of relationships. One of the weird things about being non-monogamous is rom-coms and R&B songs don't really resonate with me like they used to. This shit about I want to marry you, girl, or I want to find you, be the one, or this shit where these two people are competing to show this girl that they should, like, that don't mean nothing. I don't get it, right? But that is what is drilled into our heads from day one, right?
Yeah, I got some artists.
But like, the reality is like, you're right, man. Like, this is not it's a weird element for the greatest comic. A guy who put out that 846 is amazing. It's an amazing piece of work. Is it the best stand-up comedy? That's not the point, right?
Absolutely.
That's not the point.
That shit
but
is pain plus
to have that and then like there was an opportunity here I think could have been missed by digging deeper into this.
Again, without seeing this newest one, I feel I agree with exactly what you said about previous things, but punch it down thing. The only thing I could say that might be a defense is if from his perspective he feels like he's having a conversation that nobody else is having. But I don't know. I feel like there's a way for advocacy that it could be more of an advocacy thing than a.
That's the difficulty for me is like the idea of comedy is partially put out a contrarian view that the audience may not be into, and then you bring them into it. So is his goal to make people not be in, like the contrarian view would be to be pro and then talk about how cool the motherfuckers are, right? Like how it's no big deal and how awesome it is, and the interaction you had as a guy who's a cis hetero man who ran into these people were like, man, this is great.
This motherfucker's
it's not my dig, but it's great.
Like, dig this,
where's the comedy, right? For that. But that's a struggle I think I'm having with it. And part of the struggle I have is because he is so good. Because if he
could change lives if he would just open up to the concept of leaving people the fuck alone. In my mind, that's what I mean. But in my mind, it's like you don't. It's not like this. The conversation isn't happening everywhere. This is why their lives are this way. So can you just one time leave your own selfish bullshit where it is and just let a person be a person? I'm gonna tell you, dude, I hang around a lot of gay dudes, man. And it's like having girlfriends with muscles. Like, dude, they do shit for me that I didn't even know I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, oh shit, this is a thing? I can have this? Oh yeah, we know that you like vanilla, so we brought you this. I'm like, oh my God, this shit is like little things that make your life better. So it's having
having a diversity of friends of all type of things,
and you respect for their diversity,
right?
And respecting their diversity, but that I think that's the important part of it because if you don't respect them, then their diversity won't affect you,
right? Because
you won't be taking it in. But having a diversity of friends and respecting them for their diversity is the best thing ever because you just learn to see different perspectives, and seeing different perspectives I think makes anybody a better person.
Yeah. So I am going to check out the special. I haven't seen it yet, but we are going to check it out soon. And I think that's going to be it for this week. I think dogs have invaded the stage.
What a way to end the show. This is literally like we had this planned or something. As we're ending the show, two little dogs just came run up. Hey, you know what? Come on, while we're still filming. The owner
of Crackers Comedy has arrived.
This is the first time we're wrapping up
We're
the
just
show.
wrapping up the show.
We're about to say
So we'll bring
bye.
up here to say bye. So if you come up here and say bye with us, we'd really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for
This
giving us
is
this space.
Drew
So
Fan,
very
who's been
much.
willing to come on with us. So we really appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank
XL,
you
where
so
can we
much.
find you?
At XL Comedy, that's XLCOMEDY on all the platforms of everything that you can.
Robert?
Robert_L_Hyde on all social media.
And you can catch me at mocha_Jesus on Twitter and Instagram. Go to itsbobbyhill.com for all my show dates. Get over to New OG's Pod on Twitter and Instagram whenever you can to check out what we've got going on with our show. And make sure you get over to People of Comedy and People of Comedy Network on Twitter and Instagram to catch all the shows they got there. Make sure you catch us back here next week. We should be back on Friday at 2 o'clock next week.
And if you can and you live here, come on out.
Come on
Yeah,
out to
come on
Crackers
out.
tonight. We'll catch you there. Otherwise, we'll catch you
You
next
live in
week.
Louisville, drive up. It's only a couple hours.
That's it. That's what's up.
Burgers, they pay a fee. Diamonds, they smell sand cheese. Can't find too many better than me. All about getting cheddar indeed. Guala, mozzarella, parmesan cheese. Say you ballin', but not in my league. Say you ballin', but not in my league. Yeah, whole lot of niggas